Hi, folks. All right. There's been another huge development. People have been reporting armed drones over the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge, the place where the militia standoff is taking place in Oregon, in Burns County, Oregon, actually. And what I really want to tell you is that as much as I want to believe this is absolutely true, there's yet to be any photos of these. I do not know if they are quadcopters with pistols or if they're actually the military with bombs and missiles attached. So I have yet to learn what kind are being spotted. Let me show you the number of sources I have. As you can see, there's quite a big list of different sources that are doing this. Some of them are saying page not found, and that is very synonymous with them having actual footage or actual video and or actual photos. This is actually a big development. People aren't just seeing the drones or the predator. I'm not even going to say the predator drones because I do not have the knowledge or the insight to say whether or not they are the actual quadcopters, like I said, with pistols that can be, put up from a van or something half a mile away and brought back to location, or if it is actually the military drones with missiles and bombs. I know last night I said that there was supposed special ops on the ground. I believe that too had been done probably one of the first days on a Homeland Security package, that there would be a Spec Ops team on site to do what SWAT teams either could not or would not do. Kind of a Homeland Security package, Patriot Edition, if you will. I don't know exactly how good this is, but I'll show you this again. At least one out of every 2 or 3 of these pages have been taken down. Page not found, page not found, page not found, page not found. So it is obvious to me that as quickly as these pages are going up with these videos and these pictures and such, that these things are being sought after and the evidence is going up and the pages are being taken down. So I don't know where you are in your thoughts and your prayers for these people, folks, but from my understanding, I'm still honestly at a point where I believe this to be a psyop. I don't even know enough to know whether or not there is a no-fly zone like there was at Bundy Ranch. You would think if they were going to do any type of work at all in the air, the only ones that would be allowed to operate would be the police and the military, and they would put a no-fly zone order up through the FAA. And the only thing I can tell you with that, beyond any reasonable doubt, folks, is that that order is silent and it is non-spoken if it is not up at all. I'm not even going to check to see what the FAA and NODA or whatever it's called have as far as no-fly zones in and around this area. So what I actually see happening, folks, is I see somebody like David Ward coming on the scene one more time and being said, they're serious this time, you need to get off premises. And him leaving and either, this going into a Hollywood shootout where nobody ends up dead, or everything is just absolutely kerfuffled or whatever you want to call it, folks. I don't see them standing off SWAT teams. I don't see them lasting more than 10 minutes in a firefight against any number of armed men, women, etc. Whether it's FBI, HRTs, Special Forces, even National Guardsmen and MPs, you have to look at something, folks, and that quite honestly is that what you see here and what you see there are two different things. But as you see, the pages have been taken down over this, so there is at least some credible evidence to support that this is being told as a truth to one degree or another. I've told you recently that I've seen drones over my home, over my neighborhood at night. I believe they're just patrolling, but if you look in the sky every once in a while, you'll notice one or two stars that are blinking, almost taking photos, and various other things. I don't know if the one video I put up of that in my area is still up or not. I haven't found it in a while. But I know about 10 of my videos or so, probably closer to 50 by now, but have been taken down due to one situation or another that I was not given notice of. So that probably will be among them. I'm not even going to go into the sources here, folks, because each one is going to have to take time to load. Each one is going to have to go through it. I'm just going to list the sources at the bottom, and you guys can go at it on your own time. What I do believe is going to happen is I do believe it's going to be a stand down, and they're not going to be acting as BLM. When federal forces or military forces have to come on scene, folks, it isn't like the local police putting on vests and coming down and saying, all right, let's do this. The money the government is putting into it, whether it be hokey, psyope, or other, is considerably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour in any number of things. So I can only imagine what is going to happen to bring this to a standstill. But I don't know. And by the way, I did not do this bullseye picture. I should have probably stated that in the beginning. This is off the internet. I would never have done a bullseye picture on the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. This was done. It was a picture I picked off the internet, folks, involving Google Earth. So, I don't know what's going on with this, folks. I just know that there's a long list of shit that isn't going to go their way. And I think the way they're looking at it isn't going to go away, because even though they think they took a federal building, when you look at how the organizations are brought up, folks, and organized, whether it be internationally, domestically, etc., a wildlife refuge is a small potato. Not to mention that they went after a U.S. government building that probably has almost no real form or function to the cattle and the land being taken and everything else. I mean, yes, it is the BLM doing it. Yes, it is federal authority. You gotta be honest with yourself, folks, and that all that stuff is beyond any reasonable doubt, under any circumstances. All that is technically UN property, folks. I mean, all that's being bought up for the bankers. All that's being used for the U.S. Federal Reserve money and the IMF. And I hate using those terms. I know I'm pretty much abusing those terms at this point, but the International Monetary Fund, through the Vatican and various other forms, do pretty much run the world. And they do allow the U.S. Federal Reserve, along with the London Federal Reserve and all the central banks, to operate, and allow all the proxy police, the authorities, to do what they do under the dollar, under the Aussie, under the euro, and various other things. And that's kind of the way the world is set up, folks. So these militia here are doing this thinking they're going to change the world, and in fact, they are not. So for them to believe under any circumstances they have any authority, if this isn't actually a psyop and Obama hasn't paid these people in full beforehand, I don't know, folks. But this is all I really know, is that I don't necessarily see mass graves being dug. But what I do see in this situation is it really is unnoticed, and they have to put this situation to rest. Personally, if I was doing this, I wouldn't have allowed it to last 3 days. Protesters, no protesters, doesn't matter. I'm not sure how I would have handled it, but they could have flew over. They pretty much could have flown over a cargo plane with bags of sleeping powder and stuff and dropped them, and then had guys and SWAT teams go in and just arrest them and put them in prison after that. No shots fired. They would have a limited resistance. It would have been against the Geneva Convention, but since this isn't supposedly an active war, any number of things is possible, folks. So that's how I would have handled it. No questions, no comments. I would have had the, let's see here, this thing started on a Thursday? I would have had David Ward up on there on Friday. I would have been dropping sandbags full of some kind of agent that makes these guys all go to sleep. When it hits the ground, it would do a big plume of smoke, and all that would be blown in. I'd call up the HARP station, tell them we need winds at this location, and this kind of saturation to where we can go in and get them. And that would have been that. I wouldn't have waited 5 days. I wouldn't have waited that long. No, sir. So, and that would be my idea, is to drop like sandbags on the dirt full of an agent that is like sleeping powder, that when it hits would create a plume of smoke, and hopefully the wind moving in the right direction. If a 20 or 100 of these things hit the ground in or around the compound, hopefully not through the compound, with the wind blowing in the right direction, then you would have an instant sleeping gas effect, and then you could move in with your SWAT teams and make the arrests, and everything would have been good. So, I don't know what I feel about this, having supposed armed drones over the area. So, whatever the situation, folks, I still believe it's a psyop. I have every reason to believe it is. I'm trying not to say it is, just in case, but this is happening the same time that Obama wants all his gun control. And this is happening right after the new year when all that happens. So the idea that this just randomly happened is not really as true as it should be. Just remember, government does not have any authority over anything it does not start or cause to start. So they must have a crap load invested in this to not bring it to a Hollywood ending. Whether it be in Alamo, Ruby Ridge, or Waco is up to the decisions of everybody on the ground, but I almost guarantee you this is not going to end peacefully for these guys. So I'm trying to think of what I can say and what I can get down on this. I could go into these. Live leak, armed drones, Circle, Oregon, militia and Bundy and Hammond standoff. Real news right now. It said it's already been destroyed in a suspected drone strike. Harney County, Oregon. Headquarters of Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. More than a dozen heavily armed right-wing extremists were believed to be holed up, has been destroyed following a suspected drone strike, a spokesman of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service said early Monday. So that's kind of messed up, folks, that they already have this printed out. InfoWars, page not found. Facebook, page not found. The Elder Statesman, RossElder.com, page missing. Page there, page not found. So, it's up to you, folks. Pray for him and everything else. God bless. Thank you. Amen. Pray for him.